tournament. I've also been talking about and teasing this brew all week, and I'm like relatively happy with where it is at the moment. Um, the big idea is this is a Elvish Reclaimer Flagstones of Trokair shell, trying to use Elvish Reclaimer to not only ramp with Flagstones, but find your some powerful individual lands, mostly just Urza Saga, but you also have Thornglint Bridge of the main deck and some powerful 2 targets in cyber games. Perspired Mike, 14 months, appreciate ya. And so this is an archetype that's existed in Modern for, a while, even before MH2. These, like, green-white Eladamri's Call piles that are trying to be a bit more mid-rangey than, like, a true Titan shell. And one thing I've always kind of disliked about this archetype is, like, the general lack of interaction, the fact that the clock is really slow, and you have, like, no way to interact with, like, big mana opponents. And so, the more I was kind of thinking about the archetype, the more I was thinking that Celestial Kirin, the combo of Celestial Kirin plus Ugin's Conjurate, not only fits really well into the deck because it plays well with Flagstones and Eladamri's Call and Ranger-Captain of Eos, but it also, I think, gives the deck that interaction that you need to be able to beat your worst matchups. And then in the matchups that you already are kind of good against, being like this very resilient, grindy green-white deck, you can side out the combo, which is nice. The combo is Celestial Kirin, 4 mana, 3/3 flyer. Whenever you cast a spirit or arcane spell, destroy all permanents with that spell's mana value. And so the idea is you want to play Kirin, then conjure it on 0, and you blow up all lands. And I think that this plan is pretty good when you revolve it around Elvish Reclaimer, Aether Vial, Flagstones, and Titania. The dream, of course, is to get to do this when you have a Titania in play. So it's not going to happen that often. But I do think that in an Aether Vial shell, I've been pretty happy with it, where your Aether Vials are going to be able to generate lots of mana, and the game's going to be slowed down to the point where you're going to have time to have the Aether Vial generate lots of mana. I've been playing a lot of the deck. I guess one more thing that Ranger Captain really ties the deck together, where it also gives you more interaction against Cascade decks. It finds you Reclaimer, finds you Ugin's Conjurate, finds you a lot of sideboard tutor targets too. Been liking the Ranger Captains a lot here. Okay, we have Kirin Conjurant. Definitely keeping those hands. And then on turn 4, we can maybe get Vial if there's a Saga, wipe the board, reset. Rental services drop the value of cards. Really, like, the big Magic Online economy crash happened when they announced Arena. I remember I was grinding a lot of Brushland. I was grinding a lot of Magic Online at the time, but I guess I always grind a lot of Magic Online. But at the time was no different. I was playing a lot of Magic Online, and when they announced that they were doing away with, or when Arena was coming out, like the ticket went from being worth like 97 cents to like 45 cents immediately. It was the big crash. What made me want to play this? I've been working on this list for a long time. I need to get in the habit of either me clipping or mod clipping like the deck tech I do at the beginning of these streams, but for all the new brew streams, I do like take like a little bit longer to go over the list, and so you can go back to the beginning of the VOD and watch that. Definitely hoping I get to kill some extra stuff with my Ugin's Conjurate. We're playing in scales here. Lost 3 matches against a white-red version. Yeah, I was kind of messing around with... I don't remember how far I got into Brew before I kind of pivoted here. Oh, thank you, Doctor. Okay, I was like kind of thinking that you're somewhat incentivized... hold on. I would really love to trade Saga token for Patchwork, but it's maybe better to get Elvish Reclaimer and play this turn and use my mana a bit better. Especially because if I don't get to trade this Saga token for the Patchwork Automaton, then I lose my token to the Celestial Kirin anyways. So I think, and I also don't think my opponent would want to trade Automaton for Urza Saga tokens. So I think it's better to play Reclaimer. Due to the downshift, pique your interest in Pauper? I mean, like, maybe a little. Probably not enough to, like, dig super deep into it. But I will just completely live or die on what Andrea Mengucci says the format is like. Okay, so you are playing a very, very similar list here. Choosing to splash red for Red and 6 and Magus and Ragavan. And you lose Urza, Saga, Titania, Zuran Orb. Which is interesting and probably pretty reasonable too. I feel like I really don't like this main deck Quasali Pride Mage. I also think that Skyclave Apparition in general is like a card that I have not felt like Skyclave Apparition is a good card in a long time. You could maybe play one as like an Urza Saga target, but in general, I don't think it's a card that you are very incentivized to register in Modern. Okay, gonna take 4 here. Tap this. Get an Aether Vial. I guess I want to hold the Flagstones in hand to reclaim away. So we'll just fetch a basic plains here. And we killed their Welding Jar, their 2 lands, my 3 lands, but I have a Flagstones. And they didn't play a land last turn, so hopefully they weren't sandbagging one. Oh, I also think Tarmogoyf in these Naya decks is not very good. Like, Tarmogoyf when you are not playing discard spells, you're not playing, like, ways to get cards in the yard. This is, like, just not that strong of an effect, and, like, not one I think you are, like, almost at all incentivized to play. They have a regenerated up, so I guess we don't have any reason to attack. Yeah, I would be cutting all the Tarmogoyfs, the Quasali Pride Mage. Maybe you could play the full 4 Giver of Runes. I would play no more than 1 Skyclave Apparition. Maybe you should play 4 Ren and 6, maybe 4 Celestial Kirin. Could definitely see you playing like Second Endurance. Could definitely see you trying to play... I guess no, Imperial Recruiter can't get you your Celestial Kirin. It's kind of bad. Oh, I feel like 1 Renegade Rallier would be good. Maybe 1 Ranger or Knight of the Reliquary. I've got a Knight of the Reliquary here. So in this spot, I think I'm just gonna take 4 for this turn. Because with the Ozolith over there, I don't think it makes a ton of sense for me to just already be letting them just move the counters over to the Sentinel. Although this turn I'm gonna... Well, the Urza Saga is pretty interesting. But I feel like I want to try to ramp into the Titania with the rest of the Flagstones. Yeah, I mean, what I know I don't like the second Skyclave. I don't like the Pride Mage. I don't like the Tarmogoyfs. You have, at that point, like 6 slots to fill. I'm not sure. I really don't know what's best, though. I know that's maybe like kind of unsatisfying to hear. I'm just kind of trying to rack my brain and coming up a little short. So maybe this turn I double block? I don't know. Double block, sack, maybe chump block next turn. But I kind of want to leave in the Sentinel to maybe get like 1 card off of it. Yeah, I'm kind of stuck. I'm sure you've probably gone down this rabbit hole too to some extent. You could play Thalia. Thalia is only, you know, obviously you have some non-creature spells, but you could be in on Thalia over Tarmogoyf if you feel like you really need those 2 drops. Alright, just get another Flagstones here. Mana base looks pretty good. I do agree with the point that if you played Naya, you can't play Saga. I think that that's correctly identified. Could maybe be some good chat suggestions too. I think Thalia could fit in this strategy, kind of like Taxable Armageddon. Yeah, you could. You could play some more Thalias. I probably should text this. I'm not 100% sure what the best 75 is yet, but I am excited by the idea in general. Although maybe I'm actually chump blocking with the Kirin this turn. Could see that being fine. Sideboard looks pretty good. I like the sideboard a lot. I may play like 3 Forge-Tender over the 3rd Sanctifier, though. I think the sideboard looks really good overall. This deck went Eldritch Evolution to 2-drop Kirin or Captain against Spirit. I mean, you have Eldamri's Call, and Eldritch Evolution like requires you play cards like Voice of Resurgence. It would be a very different build. My Smash Brothers fan, play Smash Brothers at all? I mean, just like everybody else in the world, play Smash Brothers casually. I'm not, super good. I beat my friends more often than I lose to them, though. So I think grabbing a fetch land here to trigger Titania makes sense. And then I can get the Zuran Orb the following turn. Oh, I can also activate the Reclaimer. It's kind of interesting. Oh, I only have. I guess I can fetch shock here. That's fine. Forgot that I lost one of my other basics earlier. I beat Owen more than he's beat me historically, though. Maybe not. Maybe that's not true anymore. All right. Up a game against Scales. Not sure exactly what our sideboard looks like. Can bring in Knight of Autumn, Pithing Needle, Blast Zone, Solitude. And then potentially probably cutting the Soul Guide Lantern, probably trimming a little bit on the Conjurant combo. I think cutting 4th Sentinel is fine too. Spellskite is really good in this matchup. Like I said, the Endurance is not very good. I probably don't want the Endurance. Maybe this Sentinel gets back in. Sentinel's kind of mid in the matchup though. Yeah, Run Afoul hits Inkmoth, but it's kind of narrow. I think this is fine. One thing I really like about this deck's construction is you kind of get to be as in on Kirin Conjurant as you want post-board, where you can play like 2-1, you can play 1-1, you can play 0 post-board a lot of the time. It's one thing that has me pretty excited. Yeah, Teeg doesn't stop Ballista or Hanger back, so I don't think we play Teeg. Oh, sorry, the 1 minute. Damn it. I keep forgetting. This is so frustrating. I didn't sideboard, did I? I can't believe I'm playing a toolbox like mid-range deck on like the day that there's a Magic Online bug for 1 minute match timer. It's unreal. Yeah, maybe I should be valuing the fact that Kirin combo has like more value just hitting their 0 drops in this matchup too. Yeah, the bug, you used to have like two and a half minutes for your sideboarding on Magic Online. Now you only have 1 minute, and it's pretty frustrating. So I think next turn I'm not going to take the Vial up to 2, so I can Vial in a Elvish Reclaimer. Although maybe whenever I draw off Stirrings changes that. Might be worth filing for reimbursement. Yeah, maybe, but the reality is like anything that like lowers the quality of the stream, right? Like this, this is bad for the stream. That this is happening. It's just always frustrating. Okay, they find a Darksteel Citadel. Obviously not the end of the world. So maybe this turn I just Renegade Rallier back of Flagstones. I could also double block here. I think I'm not going to. Yeah, like I'm sure I can file for reimbursement, but it just always is more frustrating the fact that the stream is suffering because of the bug. Alright, ramping and thinning the deck. Next turn we can Vial and Ranger-Captain, play a 1-drop. Maybe play something else too. Double walk before Oslo seems nice. Yeah, I think that's fair. Also, like, I may be trying to set up for Blast Zone on 1. Oh, sorry, I didn't slide into Blast Zone. But like one thing I like about keeping the Sentinels here is my opponent like had to play into them last turn, so it makes me think that I might get another card or text their mana leaving these in. Would one of Giant Killer be good? Yeah, you could play Giant Killer. It's definitely an option. I'm not sure how good it would be exactly, but certainly feels like an option. Okay, glad I kept the Sentinels. Although a Ravager is scary. I'm not dead. I think I'm just supposed to take this one hit here. A lot of cards in the hand, a lot of lands, unfortunately, though. Titania is pretty interesting. I mean, I guess I'm just definitely just supposed to play the Titania. Can Violent the Ranger too, but I'm still 2 turns away from. I'm still 2 turns away from getting my Zuran Orb, but maybe I can Ranger-Captain looking for Ugin's Conjurant, and then I actually do have 3 Ugin's Conjurants in the deck at the moment. Or so 3 Celestial Kirins because of the sideboard bug, and I could try to blow up all the 0 drops and get all my Titania triggers. Spellskite is main, yeah. Dead to Flyer. They can't activate flying, can they? Oh, it's white. I got the colors mixed up here. Maybe I guess we are probably dead to that, right? Although they may like not play into, you know, the open mana. The Vial on 3 post board. X equals 2 on the Conjurate? Yeah, maybe. But like playing to that is, you know, I guess my main point. Yeah, I know that Spellskite's really good against scales. I have no way to get Spellskite here though. I am dead if they go in on this here. Again, into Vial on 3, open mana. I don't know that they're going to just commit their board, but maybe they think they can't beat the Titania unless they win this turn. Wait, they also may be a little short, right? Sack here, 3 counters 7. No, they have enough. They have enough. No, it is lethal. Wait, did they mess up? Sack this, 2 counters, 7, 9, 7 plus 9. They didn't. Yeah, they could have done more damage by putting on the Ravager instead of Zabaz, I think. But I think it's still gonna be fine. Hi from Texas, Fabry. Okay. Gonna concede and then sideboard very quickly. I just have to get in the habit of sideboarding super quickly, which is very hard to do. Okay, thank you, sweetheart. We can talk about it later. Okay, Knight of Autumn. Sorry, I forgot how I was going to sideboard. Endurance for reach. I don't think it's... endurance is like just a chump blocker. It's not really where you want to be. Can probably keep this on the play. We have Zuran Orb. We try to be on Zuran Orb. Call for Titania, potentially. Okay, Needle on Vial is really good for them here. If I draw a land, I should probably... I really feel like I need to unlock the Vial, so if I draw a land, I could try to Eldarmy's Call for Knight of Autumn. I did draw the land, so I think it makes sense to just hold up the Eldarmy's Call here. Can call for Knight of Autumn the Needle. Could also Knight of Autumn the Urza Saga. Probably better to get the Needle. And I could leave this on 2 for the, or 1 for this turn to Violent Giver. I feel like that is pretty important. Obviously, not being able to Violent the Ranger-Captain the following turn is 2. But getting the active Giver down feels like a big priority to me. And then I could potentially just, like, cast Ranger-Captain, get Reclaimer if I wanted to next turn, and potentially could also leave the Vial on 1. Or I could just be making Urza Saga tokens. We'll just see what they do. But Urza Saga tokens are nice, you know, with the Giver in play, and I've got the Zuran Orb to grow them. Although I guess overall their tokens are, on average, going to be bigger than mine. And the turn 1 Needle's so nasty. Scales is such a good deck, too. Gonna need some help from the top of the library. I mean, my opponent also maybe just, like, won't have a... maybe they won't have Arcbound Ravager. Kind of feels like that's not going to be the case, though. But drawing just a Temple Garden, I think, means I have to just play Zuran Orb, Temple Garden, pass. Hope they don't have Arcbound Ravager, and if they do, there's basically nothing I can do about it. Close to nothing. I do thankfully get Needle off of my Saga next turn. I really doubt my opponent's playing 2 Needles, so I don't need to, like, respawn, thinking they're going to Needle my Saga. I guess it's also maybe true if they have Ravager, they won't have the mana to Zabaz. No, they would have enough mana. If they have Second Needle, good beats. I feel like you just never play around it. Second Needle's so rare. You basically never see it. Witch's Oven. That is a sack outlet for them. It's not a sack outlet that, like, just gets the job done for them here, though. Notably, I'm not playing a Shadow Spear. I was thinking I have Zuran Orb against Burn, and, like, I didn't feel like I really needed the Shadow Spear as much. Although, there's always going to be spots for your missing tutor target, I guess. Even if Second Needle is rare, since I don't have any other plays, why don't you play around it? Because I'm representing other plays against an opponent who can go in here. I've got, you know, mana up for potential removal. And it's so, you know, Second Needle is like, you know, I would be absolutely shocked to see it. And my opponent may play around my open mana, right? Okay, so they have 4 counters on the Ozolith. I'm kind of surprised. I wonder if they have Ballista in their hand. I could take 5. I could also Needle Zabaz. They only have 1 card in their hand. And I could potentially just chump block this. So I'm obviously, like, kind of weak to Ravager. So I would, like, way prefer to Needle Ravager. We'll see if we draw something. I don't have the Giant Killer in the sideboard. Maybe I should be playing the Giant Killer. I was thinking I had enough tutor targets, though. Really hate just drawing another land. I can potentially find my Blast Zone off Elvish Reclaimer soon. Let me look at the deck real quick. Yeah, I just have to get a Reclaimer. Yeah, I think I just have to get Reclaimer, Needle these Zabaz, and hope my opponent doesn't have Ballista or Ravager. Famous last words, of course. I should attack here too, I think. With the constructs. Oh no! If I attack, I give them access to the flyer and the flying blocker. Yeah, I can't yet. Why do Needle Zabaz? Because Zabaz gives the Zabaz gives itself flying with its activated ability. I am like really like just dead to a big flying creature, so trying to not be a bit dead to it. You should eat Saga. There's no, but yeah. So I keep forgetting about this. But yeah, I could have gained 2 life by sacking the Saga for free. But they don't have Ballista Ravager, so we have a game. Kington, much appreciate you. You missed yesterday. Yeah, I'm sorry for not being alive every day of my life. My bad. Okay, sacking Zabaz is weird. Not sure, like, what the thought is. Maybe they don't realize they just have, like, this giver to blank the hanger back pretty well. Or maybe they're trying to make two big attackers. That's kind of interesting. I do have the ability to Blast Zone. If I Blast Zone, though, I lose my Reclaimer, my Needle, my Vial, my Giver. Oh, they can sack the Walker next turn to the Witch's Oven. That's right, that's right, that's right. Okay, okay. And the Blast Zone enters tapped. So I guess I need to draw something. Yeah, this attack feels like it doesn't accomplish anything, though. So I can draw Solitude. Maybe Eldorman's Call doesn't do it. Solitude. Blast Zone, Boseiju. Not too much else. Took it up. I can also grow the constructs because I do have an artifact land in the deck. That's probably not super relevant, though. Okay, so now we enter hard mode. No, I don't have a Skyclave. I think Skyclave... I just have been, like, really unimpressed by Skyclave for a long time. I think I'm sending in with everything but Giver and the Reclaimer. Can you sack Blast Zone in response to the activation destroy everything as 0 CMC? No, you can't. We can stage, copy Blast Zone to kill tokens. Okay, I don't have stage in the deck, so we can't. Okay, so pro colorless, or so getting my artifact land doesn't help me too much here. Yeah, but the Zuran Orb does buy me a turn of attacks. Although they're going to have 16 tokens. Not till next turn, though. Although maybe they have to do some chump blocking, too. That's kind of interesting. Oh, right. 18 tokens. Titania or Eldorman's Call, I think gets us out of the situation somewhat. Oh, 20 tokens with the Ozolith. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Titania only barely does it. Do you have any ways the Reclaimer get artifact constructs? Yeah, I have an artifact land. I can also just get Saga. Saga would make an artifact. Smart of them to not sack the Walker yet. I don't have a bounce land to pick up my Boseiju. I did at one point. I had bounce land plus Boseiju. I ended up cutting the bounce land. Yeah, no Shadow Spear in the deck. I can attack for 7 with 1 construct pro colorless this turn. They have so much life off the food. Yeah, I need to draw Eldorman's Call or Titania to even have a chance, but I think even that's not nearly enough. Which is weird, because it's so so weird to think Eldorman, or, you know, that many tokens is not enough. Solitude isn't out? It's not. They just tap the oven in response. Oh, I forgot that they also get to Ozolith onto one of their attackers. Okay, we're done. Rough start, huh? All these matches have felt really close. I also feel like I haven't played perfectly in any of them, and in all of my matches so far, the sideboard bug has gotten me. I think the bounce land is maybe sick. Yeah, I was thinking about it. It says I'm on Bring to Light in the interest of fairness in the chat. From moles to 5 on the play. Almost a 4 on the play. So I feel like leading on Reclaimer with the knowledge my opponent's on Bring to Light makes sense to not get my Sentinel pinged by Ren in 6. I think that makes sense. Okay, definitely draw. Definitely with the Flagstones draw. I'm into this. And then yeah, we get to assuming they have Ren in 6. I don't know, they get to. It has so much loyalty. Damn it. Yeah, I can't imagine them like keeping a 4-card hand without it either. Yeah. Yeah, still think we're just sacking the Reclaimer. Next turn we can go second Reclaimer, Ranger-Captain, attack the Ren in 6 for 3, potentially. Potentially Solitude the Dryad. I think so. Yeah, I think we get another Flagstones after Flagstones trigger. Although you can make a pretty good case for Urza Saga. You can get Urza Saga off the next activation. With 2 Reclaimers in play, we're really likely to get an activation. Okay, although this is interesting. Yeah, let's play the Endurance this turn to blank the Red and 6+ against an opponent who's multi-4. Just like denying like that one land, maybe like the difference between winning and losing this game even. Flam, thank you for the 11 months. Appreciate you. Two cards in hand, 1 card in hand. Ranger-Captain stops Bring to Light. I guess they can get Omnath off of it though. But let's just go ahead and kill the Ren in 6, play Ranger-Captain, hold up Reclaimer activation. Is that better than Spellskite? I think that's better than Spellskite. And then we can get Giver, we can get... I think I'm getting Ugin's Conjurant. Hoping to draw Celestial Kirin at some point. Yeah, I'll have enough mana to Eldarm's Call for Kirin and cast it next turn, which should be a win. Opponent just concedes, though. Yeah, my red blacklist up somewhere. It's in the Stream Decker. Yeah, and it should be a somewhat updated list on Twitter as well. Okay, so I think I want to bring in the Gaddock Teeg, the Pithing Needle, the first Forge-Tender at least, maybe more Forge-Tenders. Drannith Magistrate's good against Bring to Light, specifically. And Expressive Iteration if they have Iteration. They should have Iteration. I think we'll bring in the Magistrate. I think I'm cutting the Endurance, cutting the Knight of the Reliquary. Maybe Knight's better than Tracker here. Yeah, Knight's maybe better than Tracker. I think 1 Solitude for Omnath is probably not too bad, but maybe not ideal. We can probably easily cut the Lantern. Can maybe cut the 4th Vial. Definitely a matchup where we want to be on the Celestial Kirin combo. I think I'll cut the higher... Oh. I'm sorry, chat. This is just like... this is such a nightmare. You would think I would get, like, adjust to it, but... It is really hard to adjust. It's really hard to adjust. Like I've spent years, you know, playing with this clock. It's just like the habits are so hard to undo here. Yeah, they really need to fix this for tomorrow's event. It's really frustrating. And like, just of all of the days for this to happen, this is like by far the worst deck for it to happen to. Okay, Kirin gives us a plan. Need to find the conduit though, but we have, you know, 10 ways to find it. And that's one of them. Is it bugged or intentional? It's gotta be bugged. I can't imagine that they're just giving people 1 minute for sideboarding now. It's like, that's just way too little. Could be interesting to play the Vial and activate Reclaimer this turn, which is like way better if I miss my land drop. And I can Vial in the second Reclaimer. I think I just need to play the Ranger-Captain, get the Conduit this turn, and then if I miss my land drop, I can play Vial, activate Reclaimer next turn. I think they have no answer to our combo. Yeah. We did find the land drop. So I don't think Bring to Light Scapeshift almost ever plays counter spells, right? I don't think they almost ever play counter spells. Remand sometimes. Yeah, I can sack the Ranger-Captain to play around Remand. That's what I'm considering here. I think I will do that. Can we ask them? No. No, I'd say that's pretty bad etiquette to be like, hey, do you have counter spells in your deck? I need to know to take a line. Be like, hey, what is in your deck? That's just not something you can do in a match of Magic, no matter how many Twitch viewers you have. Love to have double Esper Sentinel on the play, always. Thanks, Cynthia, with the 14 months. Appreciate ya. Is there... I mean, there's not a rule against it, but there's lots of things that there's no explicit rules against that's bad etiquette. You know what I mean? But I don't think there is a rule against it now. Yeah, give me those cards. Oh man, Sentinel is so freaking good. Ooh, do I play... I guess I'm playing Reclaimer now. It's kind of close. Okay, I guess we have to take that. It's fine, I think. So they're playing Fire Ice, so they're definitely not a like super stock version of Murktide. Not sure exactly what's going on. Maybe Blue Moon? My opponent is playing Gift Storm with Fire Ice. Gift Storm with Fire Ice. Well, that was definitely not something I was expecting. I guess I need to Ranger-Captain, and if they have Remand, replay Ranger-Captain. Fire, Ice, and Gift Storm. I think I play the Spellskite. I think it made more sense to play Ranger-Captain first here, since if they had Remand, which I think is way more likely than Lightning Bolt, I get to have the Ranger-Captain in against the Storm deck. What a weird game. This has been like one of the matches we played against, I felt, have been all really weird today. I guess we played against one Grixis Shadow. Like we played against Scales, Grixis Creativity, Grixis Shadow. There's one more deck. It's just been a weird day so far. Okay. I guess I don't need... I can just Reclaimer sack the Flagstones later. I don't think I need to... do anything yet. Get an extra. Okay, they do have the remand now. It's okay, I guess. Just, I don't know. This game has been so weird. I don't really know what to make of it, to be honest. I think I'm gonna get a little sneaky, actually, and attack with the Reclaimer. Attack with the Reclaimer. So that if they block with the Brawl, I can sack the Zuran Orb and kill it. Although, I guess they never fall into that trap, and then like being able to like sack a Lance Reclaimer is probably more relevant, actually. Why not sack the Saga with Reclaimer? Because I can sack the Flagstones and get like an equal amount of value, and I get an extra Titania token, and I just have more options too. Discover the Impossible. Amazing. They just put a card in their hand. This is a wild list they've got here. Fruit Fly, thank you for the 24 months. I mean, as long as they don't kill the Ranger Captain, like, this is just going to be a time walk against them. Maybe they have another remand. I'm going to get a Saga now. Take up the Saga, and then we can attack first, attack for 6. Then we can Titania, and if it gets remanded, we either have Urza Saga activation or Endurance up. Both should be somewhat relevant. And we had Endurance up because we could pitch Titania. I don't think that that's too much of a concern here. Thank you again for 5 to 2 years. Nick considers running Scavenger guys when he made deck. I think he preferred Bog since he gets the job done immediately. Yeah, I think getting the job done immediately is way more relevant because it's like just 2 mana with Reclaimer rather than 4, 5 because Scavenger Ground, and Scavenger Grounds enters tap too when you Reclaimer for it. And exiling your own graveyard is awkward with Reclaimer with Titania, so I think Bog is way better, and I think you just want to sideboard it. But you could main deck it too. Alright. Past in Flames, Wish. I think I'm just going to put Manamorphose Wish in the yard? Or I guess... I don't know. I mean, this is all super beatable. I have to respond to Ranger-Captain with Wish, but that should be relatively easy to do. I think I'll put Wish Manamorphose into the yard. And they are super dead next turn. Yeah, they're super dead next turn, and they can't kill me through this Ranger Captain, so we should be fine. Scott with 8 months, thank you. I would bend the Passive Flames as they can reveal their graveyard after Endurance. I have Ranger Captain in hand, so I'm like just not really worried about it. Or Ranger Captain in play. You know, if they just start off with Passive Flames, they respond with Endurance. There's like no real way to get got here, I think. Then yeah, sideboard timer. It's just so hard to sideboard really fast in this deck too. Like this is this toolbox deck that I am still figuring out sideboard plans for. It's just worst day. So tough. I think Mono Blue Artifacts is good right now, even with everyone being ready for Saga. I don't know. It's probably okay. Is Ranger Captain there mainly get Conjurate? Could I explain the combo for people tuning in? If you type !Kirin, you can get a link to a clip of a more extended deck tech. But it also finds you your Reclaimers, which are also really, really relevant. What does Spellskite do versus Storm? Well, this is game 1. Spellskite's in the main deck, but right now what it's doing is protecting my Ranger-Captain from a removal spell. Although so is Giver. Yeah, I don't really feel like anything they do matters here. Sanctifier and en-Vec hoses Storm pretty easily. Maybe. They definitely could combo off through a Sanctifier. But it's probably okay in the matchup. Grape Shot doesn't really do it here because the Zuran Orb. But I think I'm just gonna still bin Grape Shot Manamorphose. Okay, I think now sacking the Ranger Captain. I mean, they can't have anything anyways. Maybe I should just sacked earlier. Yeah, but with them being completely tapped out, it's just completely over. Okay, so let's bring in, I think, second Endurance. I will bring in the Sanctifier en-Vec. Drannith Magistrate beats Past in Flames and Wish, so it's probably worth bringing in. Gaddock Teeg worth bringing in. Bojuka Bog worth bringing in. I have 38 seconds left on this timer. Out Tracker, Out Knight of the Reliquary, at Renegade Rallier, Noble Hierarch. I need to bringing in a Forge-Tender too. I'm just trying to click submit. Not sure over what. Maybe over. Yeah, it's a glitch. It's really rough. The timer is reduced to 1 minute when it's supposed to be 2.5. -1 Conjurant. I don't know. I feel like the Kirin combo is okay in the matchup. Could be wrong. Yeah, I don't know. Like, you just can't make this up. I like literally any other day I play the deck. We have enough time to sideboard, and if we play any other deck today, we still have enough time to sideboard because I usually sideboard pretty quickly. Just a nightmare today. Yeah, I'm sure I could refund it. It's not, really about the money for me, though. Why don't you play a different deck for the day? I don't know. It's, it's tough, right? Where I spent, all day, tweaking this list and prepping for today's stream here. And I've got, a couple decks on backup, but I don't know. It's really rough when you spend, 10 hours off stream in a week prepping this deck specifically for Friday's stream, and then it just isn't functional. I'm not left with a good plan to pivot to. Okay, so gonna Vial and Reclaimer. I think we leave the Vial at 1 so we can put in Forge-Tender off Ranger-Captain here. Okay, I guess now I'll put in Sentinel. Maybe I'll just get a second Sentinel. Seems like the pivot would save me a lot of grief. Maybe. I mean, I might pivot. It's, we're 2 hours into the stream. We'll figure it out. Oh, sorry. I meant to bring in the Forge-Tender. I didn't have time to bring it in. Don't really feel like I need to bog them yet. I could just play a Ugin's Conjurant as a threat this turn. But I think I'm just gonna Reclaimer away Flagstones for Urza Saga. Okay. Well, not a ton of help from the Sentinels here, but I guess we're happy to not draw those. Fortune are just for any removal they're playing. Well, Fortune is mostly good against Ragavan and Fury decks, but yeah, Storm usually has a decent amount of red removal post sideboard, and I think that having access to one Fortune as a Ranger Captain target in this matchup is worth it. I bet my opponent's also probably playing one Fury too. Okay. I think I'm happy enough to ban Manamorphose Past and Flames here. If they go for the Past and Flames flashback, we could just respond to Ranger Captain, blank the turn. Too bad we don't have the Bojuka Bog in hand, but I am interested in like maybe just bogging the Past and Flames next turn too. Was able to get everything sorted out stream. I was, yeah. Thank you, Chromus. For now, at least, right? But things seem to be pretty stable. Okay. We've drawn 4 lands off of our Esper Sentinel so far. Kind of not ideal. Maybe they're going for Empty the Warrens. We can beat Empty the Warrens, though. I think. Famous last words, maybe. But I'd rather run Caustic Caterpillar over Knight of Autumn. You could play a Caterpillar. You know, we could also be playing a Giant Killer. But I think this deck has like a plethora of really good Ranger Captain tutor targets that I don't really feel. I don't really feel like I like am really hurting for more. Okay, they have 2 cards in their hand. They're remanding their empty. So, but they only have 3 mana floating. And they have played a land this turn. So I can sack Ranger Captain in response to another ritual. But now they only have 2 mana. So I can probably leave the Ranger Captain in play. And yeah, I could beat 6 goblins. I also get to bog the Past in Flames, which is nice. Oh, also if we draw Celestial Kirin, we get to blow up all my opponent's goblins, which is kind of funny. Dude, this is like 5 lands in a row. Like, thankfully 4 of them were drawn off of Esper Sentinel, but yeah, I think this is literally 5 lands drawn in a row. Still in good shape though. Okay, just concede. Okay, 2-1 this league. Bouncing back. Lost a really close one to Scales. Then we beat Bring to Light, then we beat Blue-Red Storm. Prepared for the Blue-Red Storm matchup. Okay, we're up against Akihira, the Orphan Guard. So if this is Blue-White Control, is this hand keepable? I think it probably is. If it's not Blue-White Control and it's like Belcher, we can maybe Eldarmor's call for Ranger Captain. That's probably not going to be good enough. Although we could, I guess, we could call for Kirin Conjurant. Awesome Bay, congratulations. Hope you keep at it. But it does mold a 6. Yeah, I consider Qasali Ambusher. I was just kind of thinking that with all these Forge-Tenders, like, we have, like, the Ragavan matchups. Like I would rather play the 4th Forge-Tender over the 1st Qasali Ambusher for the Ragavan matchups, and that's mostly what you want the card for. I mean, what's really nice about, too, the Ugin's Conduit, like, combo, too, is, like, it is 2 cards, but after an Armageddon, having a flyer in play is a really nice thing to have. Okay, it looks like it is blue-white. Not sure what I want to do here. I feel like I want to play... I think I want to cast a creature next turn. I think I want to wait on the Saga. Awesome, Togek. Yeah, tomorrow's stream is going to be really long and crazy, hopefully. So yeah, tomorrow is the Magic Online 20th anniversary play-in. The format is Image 2 sealed, and the winner of the tournament gets 4 of every card of Magic Online, or almost every card of Magic Online. I think it's probably every card besides Secret Lairs, if I had to guess. Because those are the cards you don't get with the God accounts. Which people have said drastically different numbers. Some people have said like $18,000, $28,000. A lot of money. And then second, third, and fourth get 1 of each card, which is also pretty good, huh? Some of us says like 25K. Yeah, I've heard a lot of different numbers, but it's a lot of money. I think that's the one thing we can all confirm is that it is a lot of money. It very likely has counterspell. I think I'm going to grab the Sentinel here. That's interesting, though. It's definitely close, but I think I kind of like the ability to, like, if my opponent taps out for Teferi, Conjurant combo them. If I win, will I celebrate with the P.O. Box? Yes. I almost set up the P.O. Box yesterday. Couldn't you trade them in? Yes, yeah. You'll be like I will probably not keep the collection. I'm you know what I mean? I'd rather have the $20,000 whatever it is afterwards. You're not planning on streaming that? I am planning on streaming it. I'm planning on double queuing that and the Modern Challenge tomorrow, which is definitely gonna be a lot. But I'm gonna try. Gain control of Esper Sentinel. Let's see what we draw. Another Amaria's Call. Sorry for rhyming. So I'm definitely gonna call in response. Do I want to Celestial Kirin Ugin's Conjurant? That's the question. I might just want a Tireless Tracker, although that's awkward with Kirin Conjurant. I could potentially get Ranger-Captain this turn. And then Ranger-Captain can get me the Conjurant. And next turn I can sack the Ranger-Captain to get one more land. I think we're just going to go for it. Just go for it. Seems fine. Yeah, that's what we came here to do, huh? I mean, it's really good if I draw, like, my own Flagstones this turn, too. It's awkward that I blow up, of course, all my lands, but maybe the 3/3 goes the distance. I hate that I have this indestructible land that I'm just not going to get to use. Although maybe I'll just keep the... Maybe I'll try to be on, like, double Saga after this. It's close, it's close. Maybe just one Saga is correct. If I knew I was drawing another land, I would definitely play the Wooded Foothills here. But it is nice, I guess, to have the artifact land for the Saga follow-up. So even if they have Solitude, this trigger's still on the stack. No lands. They have a spell for 1 blue? Opt? yeah, I guess we let the Hall enter untapped, huh? Chalice on 0. Okay, that doesn't really do anything. Oh, I can also potentially Eldormi's Call for another Conjurant next turn. And then I'll have an indestructible land. And I will also kill the Chalice, not that that's like relevant. They'll get to draw a card. We'll see what happens. Because I kind of feel like my opponent has counterspell because they shocked in the Fountain on turn 2. So playing Saga would definitely be Saga plus Reclaimer. No, Chalice doesn't stop Solitude. Solitude sells mana value 5. When it's hit other land drops, though, which is not great for me. Teferi the Fun Raveler, probably bouncing my Kirin. So I can't Eldarmi's Call for... although it'd be great if they bounced my Saga, actually. That would be perfect. Okay, not that lucky. Yellow hat. Yellow hat. Thanks for the raid, Gab. I'm really liking your Grixis list. I think it looks good. I messed around. We're in kind of deep today. It's in really deep Fridays. The bouncer artifact land would be kind of bad. Yeah, that's true. So potentially we can Eladamri's Call for another Ugin's Conjurant and go for Kirin Conjurant again. Which is obviously like just gonna win if my opponent has nothing, but they probably have enough that it's better to go for the Saga. Although, what is this? Archmage's Charm is still Reclaimer? Okay. So this would be my window to go for it. I feel like I should... I feel like I should be making the tokens instead. It's close. It's really close. Oh, I'll go for the tokens. Although it is bad that the Conjurate combo kills my own tokens. I have no choice but to take a token. I can make Eladamri. I can Eladamri's Call. Oh, save the Teferi. Sorry. You're right. In that case, I think I'm just making a mana. Getting the Aether Vial. Yeah, it's a fairy blindness. I would have figured it out eventually. Alright, hopefully get to kill the Teferi. The Reclaimer being a 3/4 is actually really relevantly sized. Should be fine. We do have one indestructible land here too. And the Vial will help us with our spells down the line. Yeah, I can Vial and Conjure it on 0. Yeah, Charles and 0 definitely not doing anything here. Have you ever found a reason to conjure more than 0? Yeah, I mean, if there's a permanent in play that costs more than 0 and you have to kill it, then that's why you would. We need to rip a Flagstones. We'll be fine without a Flagstones, but would definitely help. We just kind of need to draw a land before we die to the Reclaimer, I think. Okay, I wasn't expecting them to just jam Solitude. Solitude makes things kind of interesting. I'm really hoping that they trade Solitude for the Constructs. But they shouldn't because my Conjurate kills my Construct. I am at 12 life now, and I can trade Kirin for Solitude, and then I just have to be able to deal with the Reclaimer. And the fact, just Armageddon my opponent, I've got the Vial in play, I've got my indestructible land. This is definitely the line. One of Cavern. I have a Cavern in the sideboard. Oh, I can also Lantern to shrink the Reclaimer down to just a 1/2, and that buys me a ton of time. Although now I can just block. Not the worst top deck, and Eladamri's Call will be good as soon as I draw any non-Saga land. Yeah, that's 2 Armageddons this game. Usually pretty good against the blue-white control deck. So yeah, so the draft, I don't think I've mentioned this that much. I think I maybe kind of alluded to it, but like the very earliest drafts of this deck were red-white playing Ragavan, Esper Sentinel, Boom Bust alongside Ranger-Captain and this is the Kirin combo, of course. And then I was playing a lot of like the indestructible artifact lands to like try to make the Armageddon like pretty asymmetrical. And then somehow I ended up here instead, but I do still want to try to kind of make that version work if I can. So they're gonna march the Spellskite. Okay, I'm gonna crack the Lantern to be on a 9-turn clock instead of a 3-turn clock. Did I see Fall of Fran's Fran deck? I've seen all of the green-white Fran variants. Okay. Guess we're filing that in next turn. And if we draw a land, we can Eldummer's Call for Titania. Oh, they have Prismatic Ending for my Vial? Oh, man. It's so bad. It's like so unbelievably bad. Okay, but now we can get our own Reclaimer. Rebuild. Down to a meager 6 life. They find land number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or maybe land number 11. Would Loam be good in this list? I don't think so. So my opponent can use the Reclaimer to fix their mana, but they shouldn't. Yeah, it is kind of dangerous for them to thin their library of lands, I would think, as well. Hot take, Loam isn't good at any list. Yeah, it's probably pretty based. I think I still have all my Flagstones. I don't know how many Temple Gardens I have left. I have, I think, only 1 Temple Garden left. 1 Temple Garden, 1 Plains. So I'm only going to get 2 Flagstones triggers. Ramming up Excavator. I mean, I think the idea is that, like, when you're Kirin comboing, you should, like, have already set up for a spot for that to be, like, a game-winning play for you. Like, trying to have, like, a 3-drop after that is probably not that necessary. You could play an Excavator, though, and, like, Vial it in, but I think that that's just, like, not the best plan to be on. So we'll be able to do the Flagstones thing one more time, assuming we don't draw our basic planes. They have a Counterspell. Are they fetching Breeding Pool? I think they're fetching Breeding Pool because they're out of islands. They've gone through 4 basic islands. It's kind of funny. But I can sack the Flagstones, get planes, get Urza Saga. Is Cleansing Wildfire something that would go in the red-white version? I'm not sure. That was definitely like one point I was getting kind of stuck on was specifically Saga, or specifically Cleansing Wildfire. No, fails to find. I told you, cracking with the Reclaimer was risky. out of lands to find. Wish you had one more Conjurate. I feel like you never need a third. I mean, obviously it would be nice, but the third one's probably overkill. We're out of fetchables too. Maybe we have like one more forest. No, they haven't hit every land drop. Could maybe have Solitude at the Reclaimer. Think we'll be fine. Really, I guess I really want to draw an untapped land so I can sack the Saga and make a Saga token. Well, I think I need to sack the Saga since we're like, you know, we also need to be hitting our lands. This lets me get in with my construct. Turn 17, huh? Okay, we got there. It's a fun game. Against blue-white control, we definitely want the Cavern of Souls. I think I'm going to cut the Solitude. Bring in Needle for Lantern and click submit. Oh, I want the Teeg too. Excuse me. Okay, I'll definitely keep this on the draw against blue-white control. First time I think draw Ignite of the Reliquary. Yeah, that was game 1. Opponents got 12 minutes on their clock. that was a really fun game, but it was long. Attack for 1 first. No Snapcaster to worry about because they have Kahira. I think I play Saga this turn. I'm not sure if I'm going to be in on making Saga tokens necessarily, but I do kind of want to prioritize, as weird as it sounds, I kind of want to prioritize getting an Aether Vial into play. These games are going to go really long. Vial's going to be worth a lot, I think. So draw a card off this fairy. If they minus, the fairy dies too, which is nice. I'm totally okay, I think, if they just like bounce my Urza Saga. Yeah, that's fine. What I don't think is fine is committing too much into a possible Supreme Verdict. I did read the new Berserk chapters, yeah. I don't have necessarily any like super hot takes though, but I did I was really excited to read them. Just trying to think if I think I'll play out the Giver. If they verdict, then it's a 2 for 3 or 1 for 1 or yeah 2 for 3, which I think is going to have to be okay. I've looked at this deck with 95 and Yorion. I mean, I've like briefly considered it, but we are pretty like we don't have that many good ETBs. We have a few Ranger-Captain and like our 5 drops, which is like, you know, like Yorion is way better when you have like lots of ETBs in these kind of decks, and again, we just don't hear. It's also like way easier said than done. You know, just like immediately building an 80 card version of this deck is just not something I can do. There is maybe a version with 80 cards that's viable, but I do not have it built. Okay, so maybe, I'm going to do what maybe I should have done last turn, but if they have another Teferi or something to answer my Saga, I can sack it to the Reclaimer. Consider playing other spirits. I've considered it, you know, but just like, you know, suggesting considered playing Yorion. I've looked, there's not very many other playable spirits. And it's just like way more helpful if you're like, hey Spike, here's a good spirit for you. I've gone ahead and looked at the spirits that are legal. But as far as you know, my mental database search went, there just aren't that many good spirits. Selfless. Selfless Spirit is not very good. It's good. It's okay against exactly blue-white control, but it's not main deckable, and I think it's not playable in general. Okay, so I'm gonna go for Ranger-Captain this turn. Obviously, really hoping it resolves so I can get my Ugin's Conjurant. If they have Verdict, there's a good chance they just like let this resolve and untap Verdict, and then I get to Conjurant them. Although I think attacking into a possible Solitude isn't great. I think Castle Lock Terrain's playable in Rectus Midrange of Modern. It's playable, but you know you have to like probably play less Din of the Bugbears and play more fetches, which you can do. I just personally really like Din. I can also, of course, next turn sack the Ranger-Captain if I get to untap with it, which would be really nice. And I don't think they're going to have Verdict since they cast the Solitude. So I think there's a good chance I get to untap with Ranger-Captain. Thoughts on the Splashing Black for an Earth and the Boros Stoneblade Shell? I haven't, no. I don't know. I think that's kind of like the easy thing to do is like splash black for on Earth, and then the deck becomes way grindier and better in like the against like Murktide specifically. But you already have a good Murktide matchup, and I would be worried that your other matchups would suffer with that deck building change. Okay, I'm gonna get Forest, cast Reclaimer, see if they do anything. I can get Cavern of Souls for my Celestial Kirin. I'm not sure if that's going to be better than just getting a Flagstones though, so that I have more lands in play. It kind of depends on if like the Ranger-Captain survives, I guess. Yeah, I think with the Ranger-Captain in play here, I'm just gonna get the Flagstones. Another Flagstones, okay. So let's go sack Ranger-Captain. See if they have like a Solitude or something, but I don't think it's gonna matter that much. And so yeah, second Flagstone's good with the Reclaimers here. I don't know what this is. It can only be Solitude, right? It could be. Do they have Subtlety? Oh, they're scrying. Dude, can you imagine? Subtlety would have been nauseating. Yeah, Cavern of Souls is legal modern. I have one in the sideboard that I sided in for this matchup, but we just went for a second Flagstones to make the Armageddon a little less symmetrical. My opponent has no more of the lands. Should be pretty good here. Pretty satisfying. Pretty satisfying play to make. This Knight of the Reliquary is also going to be large and maybe even in charge. Dare I say it? In charge? Needle on Strand. I'm gonna play the Knight this turn. 10-10. Knight has never been in charge, sadly, yeah. Could Kataki or Mass Vandal a 2-mana matter in those matchups? Well, I don't want to play Kataki or Mass Vandal because I have a lot of artifacts in my deck. Or sorry, Kataki or Oof, but you could maybe play Mass Vandal or something like that. Alright, we lost round 1 to Scales, then we won on like 6 games, definitely bouncing back. Gonna do a 4-1 prediction. I spent a lot of time this week, like working on this list. I think it's really interesting. It's, you know, I don't think I broke it. I don't think it's like a super duper competitive, but it feels somewhat playable, and I was really excited for the stream. But I was just like so worried we're gonna have a day like we have a lot of the times when we have decks like this, where it's like, you know, goes well off stream, doesn't go that well on stream, but we're bouncing back. We had a rough start today, though. PDE, thank you for the 4 months. Appreciate ya. Turn 1, Den of the Bugbear. And a Channeler. That is true that Masked Vandal is technically a spirit, huh? No lie there. So if they kill my Giver and then attack for 1, I can Vial in a Reclaimer and maybe block. Although I guess they're probably not super likely to attack into the Vial on 1. I think Kirin combo to Sophy combo. Already plays Ranger-Captain Eldar's Call anyway. Yeah, maybe you could. That's Sophy combo deck. I remember like my brain was like really foggy when I was working on that deck, and I remember like just like mentally like not being able to think super clear about the list. Yeah, it does look like a high Ashy deck, and they found Delirium, so unfortunately we're not going to be able to Vial in the Reclaimer to block. Turn 2 Delirium, always pretty impressive. Pretty sure I'm sacking Flagstones this turn, and then next turn I can... Well, I guess I can't sack the Saga and make a Saga token because I won't have time to have played my land first. Yeah, maybe I actually just make 2 Saga tokens, and then I can Ranger-Captain, Vial and Ranger-Captain, play Sentinel next turn. My Saga tokens are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5s. That's probably correct. Mass Interesting is here. Only 2 have a Spellskite. I've got more 2s post board, but yeah, Mass Vandal is interesting. I kind of like the idea. You can also play the... There's the 2-drop from one of the D&D sets. It's a 2-mana 2/2 that can destroy an enchantment, exile card from a graveyard, or gain 2 life. That card could be good too. If I figure out a number you like keeping Vial on. I take it up to like 5 pretty aggressively just because like getting to like Titania is a pretty important part of the game plan. You have a lot of Eld armies call for them, but you can leave them on 3 for a while. Yeah, Dawnbringer Cleric. I can like never remember the name of that card. That is the name of the card. Alright, Lantern, Seasoned Pyromancer off of their Reckless Impulse. Do they not have a land? Does Vandal work with Kirin? It does, it's a spirit. Okay, so now I can potentially sack the Saga to the Reclaimer. I'm probably gonna get Torpor, Zuran Orb. I think I'm just making the token. Token's large in charge. And the next turn, if my Reclaimer is still alive, I can grow the tokens to 6/6 by getting my artifact dual land. Probably a good matchup too. Winning game 1, okay, I really have to make sure to sideboard quickly. But winning game 1 would be nice because I think we like the Kirin combo is not very good in this matchup. We get to bring in like 3 Forge-Tenders and a Sanctifier en-Vec against the mono red deck, which feels pretty good. Kills Sentinel. That's gotta be a good sign for me, right? Yeah, there's no meme with the quick sideboard. Magic Online is currently bugged where you only have 1 minute sideboards. I wish it was a meme. Man, yeah, their draw is pretty clunky this game. I think I keep this on 3 for now. And then my opponent is dead if they don't block here, but they may not know that I can pump the constructs in combat, so I think they're pretty incentivized to not block here. Although I guess I don't really have to care about a haste creature. Then I'll play the Heath so that I can save this from a 1 or 2 damage burn spell, or 2 damage burn spell. Okay, up a game, gets mono red, prowess, gonna bring in 3 Forge-Tenders and the Sanctifier, probably endurance, probably solitude, cutting the Kirin combo, cutting second Titania, cutting Tireless Tracker. Maybe I think I'll play second Titania over the Tracker. Could play Knight of Autumn. Let me just click submit. I think I'll play Knight of Autumn over... No, Reliquary is pretty hard to kill. I'm just kind of like light on ways to gain life. I guess I have the Zuran Orb. This is fine, this is fine. Knight for Blood Moon? I think that I like that thought. Alright, feeling pretty good about our chances to win one of these 2 sideboard games with all these anti-red cards, and we've got a pretty good hand. I'm going to keep. Knight of Autumn over Hierarch. Yeah, you could do that too. I think that'd be fine. I think I like cutting a second Titania on the draw too. Yeah, well, I guess, yeah, Magistrate hits Light of the Stage and Reckless Impulse and Underworld Breach if they play Underworld Breach, which has become, like, somewhat popular in this archetype. I think I'd rather play Sentinel over Forge-Tender early. So, I mean, if they had Ragavan, though, I would have played the Forge-Tender. If I don't draw a land next turn, I may need to like Forge-Tender to protect Reclaimer. Although, yeah, I could take the turn off to go Spellskite. I think I'm just gonna go Sentinel Reclaimer. It's like a bit greedy, but I think it's okay. There's a good chance that they don't even like prioritize killing the Reclaimer. There's a good chance that they kill Sentinel instead of Reclaimer if they have the option. They're playing Saga themselves, which definitely like makes Blood Moon less likely. Don't think I'm too scared of their Saga. Maybe I should be. Love to draw a land this turn. No Dryad Arbor to Eldarmy's Call for. What's the idea of the deck? I think if you type !Kirin, Kirin, there's a link to this morning's deck tech on the list. Definitely kind of an out there brew, but one that I think has like a lot of cool ideas here and one that is, I think, interesting. Alright, having to ramp the hard way with the Reclaimer, but getting the job done for now. I may need to get Urza Saga next turn so that I can get my Zuran Orb for Titania quicker. But that kind of is banking on me drawing a land, so maybe it's best to wait one more turn. If I consider Dryad Arbor, I don't know if this is a meme. I hate Dryad Arbor. Dryad Arbor would be totally fine in the deck, I guess. You could play Dryad Arbor over Noble Hierarch maybe because you get to Violet in for 0, and you can tutor it off Ranger-Captain, Violet in for 0. I also just like I hate drawing Dryad Arbor. Like I'm sure some of you guys have drawn Dryad Arbor before, and it's just the worst. Oh, yeah, so I should have reactivated it earlier because of Needle. Good point. Didn't get punished, though. We lost against Hardened Scales. It was a really close match. Yeah. People are always suggesting Dryad Arbor, but I just, like, I don't know. I just hate the card so much. No, Dryad Arbor is not a spirit. It's a Dryad, right? Okay, with a dead Reclaimer, I'm not gonna have Fortune to do that. I'm just gonna get Urza Saga. I'll get Basic Plains just in case they have a Moon effect, but they are playing Saga themselves. But you never know what these like mono red players are doing. They're always up to no good. Okay, so we can Titania Zuran Orb next turn. So why don't we try to go like Spellskite Endurance to just bridge the gap from this turn to next turn. I guess I'll Endurance main phase because of Unholy Heat. Yeah, if only this was Alchemy and you could like conjure a Dryad Arbor to your hand, that would be way better. Caustic through the 13 months, appreciate you. Spike, you pump me up, hell yeah. Do my best. Okay, so we can Spellskite the Spell Bomb. Ooh, that's pretty good. Probably not going to be good enough, but it's pretty good. Take 8? Take 8. About to gain a lot of life off the orb. Wisdom, thank you for the 5 months. Appreciate you. I'm just like so obsessed with Titania Zuran Orb too. I have been like since day one of MH2. I remember like DMing Fran, like, hey, how are we doing this? Very nostalgic. So we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 5/3s. Should be good enough. And gain 12 life. Yeah, I love Zuran Orb. Is Titania the only way to view Zuran Orb? You can play Restore Balance with it. Although the problem is, like, usually you want to cascade into Restore Balance, and doesn't work so well with Zuran Orb. But maybe if you, I guess like Zuran Orb and like Restore Balance and As Foretold would be pretty cool together, because like destroying all lands is like really nice with As Foretold specifically, because you get to keep that in play. So that could be kind of fun. I'm sure somebody's tried that in the past. You can play Urza Saga in your As Foretold Electro Dominance deck, although I guess it's kind of awkward with Electro Dominance being red. Lightning Bolt Titania. I will Spellskite the Lightning Bolts. Does this also count as a combo? I would count Titania Zuran Orb as a combo, yeah. Perhaps or they're targeting the Forge-Tender. Okay. I don't know why they're not like trying to kill the Spellskite. I used to play Electro Balance, but losing Spirit Guide made it bad. Well, maybe this is an upgrade for you. I don't know. Maybe not. I might try to work on that. It sounds kind of fun. Obviously, like, those decks are always kind of weak against Teferi Time Raveler, though. I'm working on any more pre-modern stuff at the moment. I'm talking about the Fran, yeah, I see. You can play Lotus Field in it though, get opponent to 1 land. That's probably better. Maybe. Wonder if there's like any other way to like marry Urza Saga and the Electro Dominance plan. Probably not. Not like the border posts, right? Border posts make Urza Saga tokens really big. That might be something. That actually might be something. It's probably one of those like more than something, or more than nothing, less than something kind of things, though. Border post requires lots of basics. I don't think that that's a huge issue. If your mana base is like fetches, basics, Urza Saga, and you're just like blue-red deck. Yeah, Greater Gargadon too. Elno, thank you for Twitch Prime, appreciate you. Okay, I'm at 18, or yeah, 20. Just gonna block here, take 6. Nice screenshot opportunity. I don't know that this was like that interesting of a screenshot, but I don't know. I've done this like enough times in Modern now that I'm not like losing my mind every time it happens. It is fun though. Bunch is dead on board, right? Yeah, super dead. I played with Restore Balance, Rhinos, Visions, and Payoffs. Tron was a great matchup, but Teferi Nightmare, yeah, for sure. Seems interesting. Yes, losing Simian Spirit Guide's got to be, I agree, a big hit, but I may like just try to put a draft together at some point this weekend, and maybe we can, if we like scrub out of the Modern Challenge tomorrow, but we have time between rounds of the Sealed event, the Sealed 20th anniversary, can maybe like just do some playtesting of it. But we 4-1 that league. I'm very happy with the 4-1 with the deck. Let's play one more. Spend all weekend or all week like tuning this list. And I also need to like kind of hammer out the Boros version too.